Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE podcast and the Mailbag version of the show. Boy, have we got a lot of content for you guys. You guys have been just hammering me. That's not a complaint. I think that's a good thing that you guys are trying to engage and get your voice on the show. And if you'd like to, by the way, if you're new to the show or you just don't know where to send your information, email us, realwwepodcast@gmail.com is where you want to email us. And we're going to get to emails first here at the top of the show. The first one comes from Petra, or Petra. I think it's Petra, so don't kill me. I know it's one of the two. All right, so Petra writes, I just want to hear your thoughts on Becky Lynch possibly entering the Royal Rumble. I know she just had a baby last month, and it doesn't really seem like she would come back yet, but hey, it's the Royal Rumble, and who knows who will enter. But I just wanted to hear what you thought about that. Thanks. So, first of all, thank you for emailing the show. So here's what I think. I don't think that Becky Lynch will be a part of the Royal Rumble. I don't think we'll see Becky Lynch until SummerSlam. Now, that said, am I completely ruling it out? No. You know why I'm not ruling it out? Two things. Number one, Becky Lynch's desire to get back into the ring. Maybe it is stronger than we think, or maybe she just wants to actually take some time, be with her baby, and that's that. However, with the pandemic, she doesn't have to travel. You know, she can kind of just go to Orlando, or go to Tampa rather, as she needs to, and be home the other portion of the time in this pandemic. And, you know, in terms of being back to normal again is going to be some time, probably maybe sometime this year, maybe not. So I think that she has that going for her, and that's working in our favor. The other thing, though, is Vince McMahon, who likes to have all hands on deck, particularly for Rumble season into WrestleMania. However, I don't think Becky Lynch fits in here, because here's what's working against it. What's working against this is the fact that Becky Lynch just, again, you just said it, she had a baby. And she hasn't been, prior to that, working out as she normally would and keeping in ring shape. So for her to not only, you know, shed that baby weight that she may or may not have, and to get back into cardio shape in a month and a half even, 2 months, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I would be shocked. I would be floored if Becky Lynch is in the Royal Rumble. I just don't see it. I say midsummer. That's when I see Becky Lynch coming back, maybe July to get into a SummerSlam season. So it's wishful thinking. I'd give it like a 98% chance that she's not there. I will be absolutely shocked if she is. But hey, weirder things have happened. But okay, let's get to the next email here. And this is from Julian. He's from Chicago. He says, what do you think of Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce? Also, where do you think WWE is going with Shinsuke Nakamura? Okay, I'll answer your last question first. Where do I think WWE is going? WWE is going with Shinsuke Nakamura? I don't know. I really think what they're doing is testing the waters to see if they can revive Shinsuke Nakamura. What I mean by that is, what was the quote, when I say quote, crowd reaction, because there's really not a crowd there, what is the social media reaction to Shinsuke Nakamura doing what he did this past week on the Gauntlet, beating 3 formidable opponents in a row? You know, is the crowd, are they receptive to it? Are they not? Do they think they still have some juice left to squeeze out of Nakamura, or are they just going to stick him back with Cesaro and pretend that this didn't happen? I can absolutely see this WWE just pretending that this never happened, and he goes back to Cesaro, and they just do their thing that they've been doing over the last several months. And it's not the worst thing in the world for Nakamura, but I would think, you know, I'd give it like a 60-40 chance that this is actually WWE's attempt to try to see if there's anything left out of Nakamura, and they can get something out of him. So I think that I don't think he's in Universal Championship territory yet, although he certainly was in the conversation this past week. Perhaps after WrestleMania, he's in the conversation. You know, especially if Roman Reigns retains, you could get Nakamura as that next opponent into Backlash or whatever that next pay-per-view event is, Money in the Bank. You could have him there. I just don't see him in a main event capacity now that it's WrestleMania season to pull Nakamura really out of nowhere after what they've done with him since he won the Rumble a couple of years ago into obscurity, which is what happened after AJ Styles beat him. He just went, you know, basically nowhere, and then just pull him out of that into the WrestleMania picture of a championship. No. But it is encouraging. It was encouraging. It was the most encouraging moment he's had in years in WWE. I'll say that. The other part of your question about Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce, which I have a strong feeling is going to be a topic throughout the show. So I'll try not to repeat myself as this question inevitably comes up. But I think that it is bizarre. I think it speaks to WWE's inability to put legitimate opponents in front of Roman Reigns. Although you could say, well, what about Daniel Bryan? What about Shinsuke Nakamura? That would have at least been fun. Yeah, it would have. And I don't know what they're doing here. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Their payoff or their story, the story that they're telling with this better be worth the missing out of Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, or the missing out of Shinsuke Nakamura or Roman Reigns at the Rumble. Like, this better be worth it, because it's not about Adam Pearce winning or losing, because we all know he's not going to win. I mean, it's all but a foregone conclusion at this point. That's not what it is. The point of this is certainly for a storyline for what's going to happen next for Roman Reigns. There's no other reason. There's nothing else. There's zero. So I'm not excited for the match. I don't think anyone in their right mind is excited for this match. It's more of a what's the next chapter. That's what this is about. Like, who's going to interfere? Who's going to take Adam Pearce's place? Who's going to put Roman down after he inevitably puts Pearce down? I don't know. I will say this too. Adam Pearce isn't exactly the most likable guy. I actually loved when Braun Strowman knocked him down. Adam Pearce is a nice heel. I mean, he just is. I do not like his demeanor on camera. I think he comes off disingenuous. I don't think that Adam Pearce is a true babyface if they're trying to position him as that because he's a super underdog. I actually don't mind seeing Roman Reigns beat the holy hell out of him because I don't like Adam Pearce as a character. I don't like that he just suddenly showed up and is running all shows just because he's WWE official. Nothing was ever explained. WWE clearly just snuck this under our nose of, you guys got a GM back, but we're not going to call him a GM. We're going to call him an official, but he's really a GM. That's how I feel like what happened. Right? And they're kind of winking and nodding at each other. Nonetheless. So I have a feeling, again, this question will probably come up more. But thank you, Julian, for emailing the show. And let's get to the next email here. And let's see what we got here. We have Liam here. Thank you. He says, hello, my name is Liam, and I'm from Norwich in the UK, home of Paige. Very true. I'm a longtime WWE fan, a longtime listener of the pod. Keeps my long night shifts at work going quick. I'm glad that we can keep you distracted from work. Hopefully not in a negative way, where you're maybe listening to the show and not doing your job. But hey, I'd done the same thing at work. Okay, basically, I'm emailing you to see if you think that Becky will make a surprise return. Oh boy, you guys have been talking to each other here. I'm hoping she does, as with Paige not being able to wrestle anymore. Becky has been the new favorite for a long time for me. Would be good to know what your thoughts are on the return. Keep up the good work on the pod. So thank you. Your question, again, I know we just answered that, so hopefully you got your answer about what I think about Becky Lynch. Short version, SummerSlam. I don't think she's ready. I don't think she wants to leave her baby. Not her, but why would she in a pandemic situation where she's not completely needed? The women's division's doing just fine without her. She has time to be with her family, be with Seth when he's home, be with her baby as much as possible, because this is a gift, being a WWE star and not having to travel. And there's just no rush to get her back. I mean, it's not going to make her break her career, not going to make her break WWE. Again, my percentage is 98% that Becky Lynch is not going to be a part of the Royal Rumble. I don't see a need for it. I don't really think I'd want her. Honestly, I'm okay with waiting. It would be a 6-week turnaround from her delivering a baby to want the desire to get back in the ring, leave her newborn child, and then be a part of the Rumble to just get back into the wrestling thing. I very, very much doubt it. So, okay. Moving on. Thank you, Liam. Please feel free and enjoy our podcast while you're at work. All right. The next email here. This is probably the most emails we've ever gotten, right? This is from Mr. Palumbo. I don't know how to pronounce your first name because I don't want to embarrass myself. Okay, wow, quite a long email here, but I'll try to my best here. Okay, love your podcast. Just listened to the January 10th week in review. Couple of thoughts. Number one, SmackDown, in my opinion, is still beating the crap out of Raw quality-wise. I could be a little biased since me and the kids watch SmackDown religiously since it's Friday and only catch Raw every now and then. Last Friday's SmackDown show, in my opinion, was entertaining from start to finish. Personally, I think the 2-hour format just works better. Raw tends to lag, especially when they don't know what the heck they're doing. I absolutely agree with your assessment that Royal Rumble is carrying, or Roman Reigns is carrying the show. Great stuff out of Roman. So first point, yes. And I will say, 2-hour format is magic, isn't it? It's magical. Or, if you can't stand the 3-hour format, do what I do. Get Hulu. Because you get a 90-minute version of Raw. It's literally cut in half. Takes out the ads. Of course, you get the ad-free version of Hulu. But it also trims the fat. And you get to see what WWE does not deem important enough to put on their Hulu version. So that's also quite interesting. But I agree. 2-hour format. I would actually want Raw to go back to 2 hours. But they won't do it. You know why? Money, my friend. Ad revenue. Okay. Next point. Here's my take on the Adam Pearce thing. It's not about Pearce. It's about Roman Reigns picking his own opponents to ensure he retains. He's embodying the Messiah complex, head of the table, but it's not as obvious as it was with Seth Rollins. The Pearce thing is also about punishment. Roman wants to show the higher-ups, storyline-wise, of course, that he is the one running the show and anyone who jeopardizes his title will be punished. I absolutely love this angle right now. Roman is killing it. So again, praising Roman, I couldn't agree more. And it is about, partially, which I've been ignoring, I'm glad you brought up, that Roman is picking his own opponents. Although, why is management just rolling over on this, right? Like, they suspended Braun Strowman, who's 50% bigger than Roman Reigns, intimidating-wise, and I don't know. They're just cowering with Roman Reigns. I don't know why they're bending to his every whim when they can just say, you put your hands on me. By the way, you're suspended. Goodbye. I mean, it'd be very easy to do. But I'm willing to put that logic aside because a lot of times you do have to take the logic out of your brain and just put it on the table next to you and say, hey, yeah, this is what they're trying to show us and tell us about Roman and his character, that he is a guy that just picks who he wants so that he can retain. And that's a very good point. That's what he's doing. And the way he bullied Pearce around last week was entertaining as hell. And I don't mean that in a way that make me cheer Roman. I want to be clear. So very good point. Yes, he does have the Messiah complex. Okay, the gauntlet match was pretty good. It seems Daniel Bryan is the common denominator for me. His Intercontinental Championship match last year with AJ Styles really had an old school WWF feel. His match with Shinsuke was really good. I like how we saw a different angle with Shinsuke. I feel like all he does is kick, but his match showed some skill. Yeah, and at times with Shinsuke Nakamura too, you can even hear this in the announcer's voice. He'll do a move that is very similar to the Kinshasa, like very similar, and the announcers don't know if to call it his finish because it's a small variation of that. And I agree, he needs to either stop kicking and only use the kick for his finish because a lot of his other kicks are so similar, or even look more devastating than the Kinshasa. But I agree, yeah, he does. He's a kick machine. I agree. I'm glad you like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. That match was awesome. Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, two really good opponents right there for Roman that they are just sitting on and maybe waiting, and that's fine, but as long as they get to them, I think you could really draw, especially Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. You look at the history there, and there's a lot of history with Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns going back to 2015, and so, okay. Next point. Boy, I really appreciate you reading this email. I mean, this is probably the longest email we've gotten. Absolutely think the Goldberg thing is number one, Vince, number two, contractual. This is almost the exact same thing that happened last year with Goldberg ruining the Fiend's momentum leading into WrestleMania. I think Vince loves the old days. He can't let it go. Also, Goldberg is a definite ratings generator for the casual fan. I just hope all this together doesn't mean Drew puts him over. That would be a train wreck storyline-wise and product-wise. Goldberg can't wrestle. Some say he never could. He brings nostalgia, period. Drew is a legit champion. WWE should keep that going. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I brought this up. I think it was in my Raw review. All the shows kind of blend together for me, though. That if Goldberg wins the championship from Drew clean, that we could be looking at a complete uprising on Twitter. As if there's not enough stuff going on Twitter right now with everything else going on in the world politics-wise. But the people will literally revolt. But maybe that's the point. Like, how about this, though? How about this? Say Goldberg does beat Drew, which I actually am of the belief now that he will. If you were going to ask me today my predictions, I think Goldberg wins, and it's not because I want him to. I don't think anybody wants him to. I think it's because perhaps they turn Goldberg outright heel. What if he wins with a kick to the lower genitalia of Drew and a spear? Right? What if they just turn Goldberg heel and stop fighting the tide? Hell, why not? Why not? Why not? Goldberg's not the future. He's here to put over talent. That's what he's here for, should be here for. I guess it all depends who his WrestleMania opponent's going to be, because that's all the other reason why he's here. So I'm okay with it. And again, I should say I'm least angry if they turn Goldberg heel outright and have him as a heel champion, so we can all hate the hell out of him. I mean, Goldberg will not get cheered. He won't get cheered no matter what he does. I'm just really sad this is not in front of a live audience to hear the crowd completely decimate him. But, yeah, it would be an absolute... Here's the worst case scenario. Goldberg steamrolls Drew McIntyre. You know, maybe he gets a Claymore in, and then it's a kick out, and then it's just spear. And on the 8th spear, he finally puts Drew down, and Goldberg's champion. And then that's it. That is the worst case scenario, of which I'm not putting out of the realm of impossibility, which is scary. So, but I'm of the belief that Goldberg wins. I don't think... I put this on my show. I think it's 75% that Goldberg wins as of this moment. So... all right, and I agree also about he just brings nostalgia. That's it. I mean, he's just a guy that looks the part and snorts and is intense. That's it. That's what Goldberg is. That's it. His moves are not difficult moves. Like, seriously, I've spent almost no time in the ring. Almost, I say almost because I've done a couple of wrestling training camps in my day that maybe I'll tell you that story sometime. Embarrassing stories. Nonetheless, I know enough to know that the spears and that he does, which is probably the simplest thing to do. The jackhammer, okay, it takes some strength. But he doesn't bring a variety. Variety is not Goldberg. He is not a rounded performer, I'll say that. And again, I think he's a great human being, like on an actual person level. Just character-wise, he doesn't belong in 2021, period. No, okay, moving on. Anyway, I listened to the podcast and felt compelled to share. I've called the show once. I used to watch back in the WWF early to late Attitude Era, and it took a 20-year break. Now, as I watch an adult with my kids, one reason I don't mind the PG era, very true. They're smart, and I understand why they did that. I understand why WWE went PG. It's smart for business. It is. You and I may really dislike the PG era cartoon childish nonsense that's eye-rolling and secondhand embarrassing at times. But they're creating a new generation of fans. That's what they do. They are really, their target audience are kids, not us. And I understand it. Makes sense, and so nonetheless. Okay. I'm an avid fan. We don't miss a single pay-per-view, and I read wrestling news and rumors weekly. I guess it's been a way to escape the crazy world we're living in. Yeah, that's for damn sure. To be honest, I like how WWE stays out of politics for the most part. I really appreciate that. Yeah, they do for the most part, albeit the Drew McIntyre CDC publicly sponsored COVID-19 just advisory that he gave out this past week, which was stupid. Okay, I know I'm not saying the virus is stupid. I'm not a virus denier. If you guys heard my Raw review, I want to be very, very clear. I do not think that masks are ineffective. I don't think social distancing is ineffective. I think they are effective. Masks, got to have the right mask. Do your research, guys. Surgical masks almost protect you to zero. Like, they don't do much. You got to have the N95. The filtration is key. Okay, nonetheless, I don't need Drew McIntyre coming out and saying the same things everyone's been saying since mid-March of last year. It's silly. And yeah, outside of a couple of things here and there with Black Lives Matter bans being put around, which is political. It's political. I'd say 95% of the time they're apolitical. I agree. Okay. If you're ever looking for guests, writers, or I'm an educator, I enjoy writing and been published a few times in letters to the editor and opinion pieces. I have produced some YouTube videos for my education platform in the past. In any case, I just want to throw that out there. I could write up something for you to look into no matter. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, definitely, maybe I can listen. We'll be in touch. Certainly. You're in Vegas, I see. Boy, that's no fair. I got to sit here in New York while it's cold and snowy for the next 3.5 months, I think. I mean, literally it can snow into May here though. It's insane. But yeah, definitely. If you want to be a contributor, like I will, I'll email you back. We'll have a conversation. Okay. Let's get to, let's see if I have any more emails. One more email, and then we're going to get to actual voice and you'll stop listening to me. Okay. One more email. So this is from Petra again. And she says, I need to know what you thought of Adam Pearce facing Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. I guess my question is if you actually think it's going to happen or if Adam will find some way to get out of it. Honestly, I really hope it happens, even though it's obvious Adam doesn't have a chance anyway. That's it for now. Talk to you soon. Okay, well, I just dissected this pretty well. I think that if it does happen, what my analysis is that it's really just to get Roman to the next true opponent, or legitimate opponent. That's what I think it's going to be, however that happens. But maybe this doesn't happen and there is a stand-in. That's absolutely possible. It's something I didn't even consider. If he has a stand-in, who's that stand-in though? It could be Shinsuke. Could be Daniel. Certainly. I think one of those two should be a stand-in for Adam Pearce. Instead of actually putting himself in that position and putting on a stinker of a match, which I don't think it would be great. It's just going to be a lot of posturing, a lot of intimidating Adam Pearce, a lot of maybe a very, very, very quick hope spot from Adam Pearce, or oh my God, he could get him, and oh wait, nope, spear, he loses. I mean, that's exactly what it's going to be. But good point about possibly putting a stand-in for Adam Pearce. I think that's possible. A lot of things are possible right now with that. It's just a weird thing to do. Okay. Let's get to other voices so you stop hearing me. And let's see here. I got voicemails from email. I've got voicemails from my actual voice box or mailbox. So let's get to the very first of the night.
Hello, Matt. This is Joe, first-time caller from the UK. Just want to start getting about Sasha Banks. I love Sasha Banks. Love her character. Love her entrance music. I think she really does own that, but I would agree with you on the fact of she's not really a babyface at the moment, which could possibly be solved with a Royal Rumble win from Bianca Belair. Bianca can challenge Sasha. Sasha can fit straight back into that heel role. Sasha versus Bianca Belair for a match at WrestleMania. Another possible winner for the Women's Rumble, Sonya Deville. I'd like to see, if she was to win it, I'd like to see her go for the Raw title. Possibly beat Asuka for the title, maybe feud with Mandy Rose again over on Raw. Her champion on Raw, Bianca champion on SmackDown could really freshen things up in the women's division. The Men's Rumble, I'd put Bryan to win it. Be a really hard match to call him versus Roman Reigns. I could possibly see Bryan putting Roman over, solidifying Roman as, the real head of the table, so to speak. Maybe some returns from either Edge or The Fiend after Randy Orton. The Fiend would be pretty cool, seeing him with his new look in the Rumble. But I like the idea of what you say, Edge coming back in his old spot. A few rants. The social exposure of the company is obviously a lot now over social media, the real lives, the real relationships. So I just don't understand why they don't keep the storylines a bit more to the real life. Like, for example, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, actual family members. It makes sense for them to be in storylines together, and it makes it easier to buy into and believe. Whereas these other ones where you fake relationships that we know aren't true, it's just ridiculous. As for legends coming back, exposing themselves and just diminishing the legendary status, basically. Mark Henry taking insults off Randy Orton after, a legit strong man made himself look an idiot. Goldberg should have packed it in after Brock Lesnar, where he really was the man for the job. It was a money feud. Really enjoyed it. He should have packed it in then. Other than that, Matt, That's all I've got to really say. I don't know where your co-host Ashley Mann is. I haven't seen her. Listened to her on your podcast for a while, but she was one of my favourite one of your co-hosts. So I'd really like it if you could have her back on. And yeah, keep up the great show. Really enjoy it, and I'll hopefully call back again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hey Joe, so great to hear you. Glad you're doing well, and thank you for all the comments and rants that you had. A lot of information you packed into that voicemail. I mean, that was a lot. It's not a bad thing. I mean, you got to make the most of your time while you're here. That's fine. I won't answer or respond to everything. I'm just going to kind of pick and choose some things here. Number one, Ashley, hear that? Come on back. Yeah, I mean, so I'll let her know. I mean, if she's listening to this, obviously she knows that she's welcome anytime. So yeah, Ashley, you there? All right. So beyond that, Bianca Belair. Yes, I think they've got big plans for Bianca Belair. I really do. And I don't know if that's Raw or SmackDown related. I don't know if she's going to challenge Asuka or if she's going to challenge Sasha Banks. I believe it was to be Sasha Banks. However, WWE has not specified whether or not they are going to have the champion or the winner of the Royal Rumble be able to challenge on either brand. They have not specified that. They have changed it over the years, so maybe they won't even tell us. We're just supposed to guess. But I think even if they do allow for champions or Royal Rumble winners to cross over brands to challenge a champion, that they will keep Bianca Belair on SmackDown. I think she's got a nice home there, and she's got some good chemistry with Bayley and Sasha. But Bianca Belair, look out. I think she is, again, one of the top contenders to win the Royal Rumble. She may very well win the whole thing, especially given her performance last year, eliminating, 8 women or something like that. However, I did pick Sonya Deville on an very early call last week that she could win, but now in her kind of weird co-general manager role, or co-official role, whatever the hell that she wants to be labeled as, I don't know if she's going to be competing in the ring at all. So yeah, I think Bianca Belair right now is probably the favorite to win, and I think she's got big things going on in her future, especially in 2021, no doubt. And she's a future champion for the women. So, alrighty, thank you, Joe, so much, and for all your comments, very much appreciated. And let's get to that next voicemail.
Hi, Matt. This is Sharon from Israel. One thing I wanted to talk with you about what was in WWE this week. It's about being interested in the championship matches, Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre, and what seems to be Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns. I'm not interested in these matches at all. Actually, in your last show, you said that you're going to see Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. I'm now Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre, I'm sorry. So I'm now saying that I'm not going to see those matches. Maybe just the Royal Rumble of the women and the men. Those matches are going to be horrible. We're talking about Adam Pearce and Goldberg, two wrestlers that he didn't have a match in a lot of years and don't have any wrestling moves, and I don't know their story, and I don't know what they. I mean, I know who Goldberg is, but what have he done in the last years? I mean, I don't want to conclude the championship that he had against Brock Lesnar, The Fiend, and Kevin Owens. I mean, anyway, so if those are the matches that are going to be in the Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg and Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns, I'm not going to watch them. I will just see the result. Obviously, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns are going to win. If not, I don't know, maybe we'll do a protest against Vince McMahon. And that's it. Okay, see you later. Have a good week. Bye.
Hey, Sharon, thank you for calling in. Thank you so much. And I think it's very clear to me that you are not interested in seeing Adam Pearce face Roman Reigns, nor are you interested in seeing Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. So I will say this. I don't think anybody is. And if you are concerned about wrestling quality in a show and you like good matches that are competitive and you don't know who's going to win and all that, this is not the main events for you, especially if they actually pan out as expected. Again, this is assuming that Adam Pearce doesn't have a stand-in or some kind of wonky substitute or something weird. This is assuming that the matches go exactly as planned. then yeah, it's not going to be great. Again, I think that it's more about the means to an end for Roman Reigns getting to whoever. Maybe he brings The Rock back. I mean, I don't know. Very, very unlikely. But something along those lines of having somebody else come in and stand up to Roman Reigns as his next opponent. But if you're looking for a stand-in in Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg, good luck. Because I think that match is going to happen no matter what. That match is happening. And love Goldberg or hate him, I said it many times in the show already, I think it's very possible Goldberg wins. And I know nobody wants to hear that, and it's going to be a hard truth, but it could happen. Especially considering this. Vince McMahon has some kind of obsession with Goldberg. I don't know what it is. He didn't create him. He's in WCW. He feels that Goldberg's a big name. He's like, it's Goldberg. It's Goldberg, damn it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, Vince needs to realize we're in 2021, not 2001. Okay, this is 20 years ago. We're talking over 20 years ago that Goldberg was actually a household name. And he still is. But at this point, it's even if he's in great shape, I don't care. Because getting Goldberg in great shape, we've seen what Goldberg in great shape can do in the 90s, which is the same three moves. Like, a couple of punches, a suplex, and a spear, right? That's it. Jackhammer. I mean, it's very, very limited. So I don't care how good of shape Goldberg gets in, he is still limited. So I don't, the only way I'd slightly accept is if they turn Goldberg outright heel, do something ridiculous, have him just be a total D-bag about how, I'm a 55-year-old man and I can come in here and beat the guys that you all look up to in 2 minutes. I mean, he could really get some heat. Really, just play off what the fans are complaining about and run with it. They could do some great stuff and then have Goldberg get beat at WrestleMania where Drew recaptures the belt. I mean, you could do something like that. I don't know. I really am curious as to where they're going because we all thought Goldberg and Roman Reigns were going to be the ones to hook up. And it happened to be Drew McIntyre. I don't know. Things are weird right now. Very weird. So, okay. Next one.
Hey, Matt. It's me, Chris from Switzerland. I'll be doing well. Thank you for your show as well, as always. Today I have something a little special for you. It's just a little fantasy WrestleMania card I have for you today. And the main thing for me is all these wrestlers or matches are with the wrestlers in their prime. I don't talk about the wrestlers how they are in shape now. So imagine they all are in their prime. The Fiend versus The Undertaker versus Sting in a Hell in a Cell match. Maybe you can guess what kind of storyline could be possible about that match. Because I don't have so much time. The second match I have here is AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus Danny Bryan for the WWE Championship in a ladder match, of course, because I think these three, of course, they could work awesomely. Normal triple threat, but why not a ladder match? They would be cool. The third match is Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch in a career versus title match. Because I think also in the prime now, Becky Lynch is at the end of her career. If she comes back, it will be not more than a few years. Will be absolutely okay to me. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. Because these three are so different and so cool and doing absolutely well. And they will rock the house, I guess, in an awesome triple threat title match. Then I have the main event. It's absolute fantasy because it's WWE and AEW cooperated cooperation. I mean, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose versus Kenny Omega in a winner takes all elimination match for the AEW and WWE title. Yeah, whatever. It was just a thought. I wish you the best of all, and thank you for your show, and I will write you soon about maybe making a show with you together, and yeah, stay healthy and take care. Bye.
Hey, Chris. Well, first of all, thank you for changing things up. It was a nice change of pace to hear a fantasy lineup, in this mix of questions and voicemails. So certainly this is an interesting lineup you got here, and playing Fantasy Booker is always a fun game for wrestling fans. It's just what we do, because we always know better, right? But I will say, I do like this for a couple of reasons. You have only, 5 matches on the WrestleMania card. Bravo, my friend. Bravo. I think WWE can take some lessons just from the sheer number of matches you have on the card. 5 matches on a WrestleMania card is certainly more desirable than, 15 it feels like they have now. So, yes, agree with that. You certainly love your triple threats and fatal four-ways, though, I gotta say. You don't have any one-on-ones. I'm a big fan of one-on-ones as a general rule, but you do have some intriguing triple threats here with The Fiend, Undertaker, and Sting versus Sting and Hell in a Cell. I gotta ask you, though, man, who goes over in all these? You didn't say. You gotta tell me who goes over. I didn't hear that, but that's certainly intriguing. Again, in their prime. AJ Styles versus AJ versus Ray versus Daniel Bryan in a ladder match. I think that's actually still plausible, unlikely, but all 3 guys are still active, so that's not impossible. Charlotte versus Becky in a career versus title. Yeah, I mean, that could be how Becky ends her career, because I think you're right. I think Becky will leave before Charlotte does. Maybe Becky realizes that, hey, I want to just be a full-time mom. Maybe she doesn't come back. We're not even considering that, but that's not bad. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. Also, probably one of the more realistic ones on the entire card is that one. Roman versus Seth versus Dean versus Kenny Omega in a winner-take-all for AEW and WWE title championships. Yeah, I mean, you had to laugh. I had to laugh on that because as much as Triple H will say in his media conferences that he does with wrestling media, like with all the big wrestling sites that we all know who they are, and he says that, we're open to everything. Yeah, nonsense. I mean, I can smell the crap through the phone, Trips. I mean, come on. No, you're not. You're not, because that would be an admission that you need AEW's help. And then WWE would never, ever, I don't think, unless then they were on their last breath, maybe not even then, cooperate with another promotion. They've never shown it in the past. I don't expect them to show it now. They barely wanted to mention Luke Harper until it was public pressure and the public perception of their terrible tribute to Luke Harper on Raw, which was basically a quick graphic. That's it. And they were strong-armed into doing things on their channel and doing things on the backside because of public pressure, and that they did a terrible tribute. I have no faith that they will ever work with a promotion while that promotion is also competing against them. It's no. But I do. I mean, I like the match, and on its face, it's not bad. Certainly, you'd get a hell of a match out of that. And then you'd have a champion ruling both promotions. I had to laugh. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I mean, you had to laugh too. It's just the plausibility of that is it's pretty funny. But I love fantasy booking, man. I mean, anytime you want to call back, if you're interested in coming on the show or whatever, just send me an email, man. Let me know what your schedule is. Maybe we can get you on. Things are pretty tight right now with Royal Rumble season, and but maybe we'll squeeze you in. All right, let's keep moving, guys. Got a lot to get through.
Hey Matt, this is Jeff from the Philippines. So here's what I think why we're not getting Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, despite WWE hinting that it might happen before. And I think WWE didn't expect Roman Reigns' heel run to be this hot, and if they actually do Goldberg versus Roman Reigns around this time, fans would definitely get behind Roman Reigns despite of him being a heel. And as WWE, of course, they don't want their top heel to be cheered in that match. So that's my opinion, and stay safe. Take care.
Jeff, my friend, you're making me feel stupid. You're making me feel dumb. And that's a compliment to you, because that may be one of the best points that's been brought up this week about the fact that Roman Reigns has been so damn good, so hot as a heel, that perhaps WWE is smart enough to say, hey, we know what the fans are saying about Goldberg. We know what they're saying. We know that they are tired of seeing him, but we have a contractual obligation to him. We're going to stick him in a match, but if we put him with Goldberg, we put him with Roman Reigns, that could be problematic considering Roman Reigns is doing so damn good. And that may dampen his ability to continue that heat because people would, I think, cheer for Roman Reigns to beat Goldberg because they're just tired of Goldberg. It's a good damn point. Damn it, Jeff. Man, thank you for that point. And that's absolutely, I think, part of it. And I think that Drew McIntyre is a second favorite to this and having Goldberg there. And I don't know, again, why the hell are we even having him here? We're doing just fine without him. And it's, I don't know, I'm going to get on a rant. But thank you, Jeff. Thank you for pointing out the ineptitude of my brain to pick that up. Thank you so much. And hope you're staying safe as well. Okay, let's go.
Hi, it's Kyle from Baltimore, Maryland. I just want to talk about just SmackDown in general as a show as of late. It's been the better show than Raw because to me, every time I watch SmackDown, I pay attention to see what Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, and a lot of people are SmackDown. This is a better show than Monday Night Raw because Monday Night Raw, you know, Drew McIntyre and Asuka and all the main champions on Raw isn't all that great, and so at least to me, and you know, this Legend Night thing that happened on Raw was very stupid. You need to focus on people from the current roster and not rely on the past, and I think Sada does a better job with that. So, but what do you think about that compared to two shows that SmackDown is a better show than Monday Night Raw right now, as of it currently is? But
Hey, Kyle. So you're not wrong about the Legends Raw. And again, that was one of the worst shows I've seen in years. Compared to any SmackDown that has happened, that is any SmackDown that has happened over the last 10 years would be better than that Raw Legends show. But we have to remember that was one show, right? Like, let's look at the consistency of the show. Let's look at the broader spectrum. Let's look at a bigger sample size of Monday Night Raw. You know, like, has Raw been consistently worse than SmackDown? Again, it's really, I think it's always a wash, you know, because there are stretches we go where we're like, oh my God, Raw sucks, SmackDown's so much better. And then there's times where we're like, oh my God, SmackDown's so much better than Raw. We kind of flop back and forth. If you're going to give an edge to a program, I would say it is a slight edge to SmackDown because of the Roman Reigns factor. I mean, Roman Reigns is a huge part of why SmackDown has been better. If you take Roman Reigns out of the equation, I think you may have a different opinion. And again, taking the Raw Legends, which is an anomaly, which is, again, like the outlier of terrible shows, out of it, you know, things even out very quickly. So I would like to look at a big sample size of shows, you know, because we kind of go up and down from show to show. And Roman Reigns has been a consistently amazing, steady figure for SmackDown, carrying the entire show at times on his back. It's true. Really, at times even carrying the company on his back. And now we don't have Drew McIntyre for a couple of weeks as he recovers from COVID. And Goldberg's back, which nobody wants to see. And you know, yeah, you tally these things up, you can make a case. It's just that SmackDown to me has always been kind of the wrestling show, and Raw is always the talking show. But I think that over time has really kind of devolved into just Raw feels like SmackDown just with a different color. I mean, it sometimes it does. You know, it's Raw with a blue color. But you know, again, I understand. And plus, Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown's 2. That certainly does help the case of SmackDown. Alrighty, let's keep going.
Hey Matt, it's Kyle from New York again. So you might get to, you're probably gonna obviously not listen to play this mailbag till the next mailbag episode. So it's gonna be a little late. You might already talk about this on your weekend review, but SmackDown, it was good. Most of it. SmackDown Tag and Title match was good. The Intercontinental match was alright. Everything was pretty good. The Gauntlet match was good until the end. Adam Pearce. At first I was like, you know what? I kind of like this. Hear me out. I like that Adam Pearce won it because Roman Reigns forced him to win it, and that makes, one, Roman Reigns get more heel heat, and they make people hate him more. And two, in Roman's mind, it's basically like, I made him win, so now at the Royal Rumble when I defeat him, I'll have an easy title defense successfully. I'll have an easy win. That's what Roman's probably thinking. I'll have an easy win now. So all I gotta do is beat Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce, sorry, it's a little inappropriate for your show, but he can. Why can't he just have the balls to say to Roman, "No, I'm not going in the gauntlet match"? I don't know. Another thing that annoys me, I know this is a small thing, but when Sonya Deville, I don't like her new character by the way now, her being Adam Pearce's little assistant, a little associate. When Sonya Deville's backstage with Adam Pearce, she was like, now I'm your associate. We can make the SmackDown a bigger and better show. And she was thinking about their stuff that they can do and make the show better. And she was like, "Oh, I know what we should do. Bring more legends." So if you missed that, Matt, Sonya Deville literally said to Adam Pearce, "Hey, we can bring more legends to the show." No. I know you're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. You're probably going to make a rant about it on your weekend review. No. That's probably Vince McMahon telling her to say that. Anyway. Yeah, that's really it. So, yep, thanks and bye.
Damn it, Kyle. You know just how to trigger me. I did not catch that with Sonya Deville. First of all, I'm not even a big fan of Sonya Deville in this role. I think she belongs in the ring, on a microphone, carrying a championship. That's number one. Number two, if she's indeed in this weird role that all of a sudden there's an authority figure that got slid under our nose, and then we have an associate or an assistant authority figure that is apparently helping Adam Pearce, and now Sonya Deville, I did not catch that, talked about that we need more legends. I mean, I'm so tired. I won't do a rant, but you know exactly what I'm going to say about it. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You're joking, right? That's the way to build SmackDown into the future and make it bigger and better, is to pull on the past instead of building for the future? Right. Got it. Great, Vince. Thanks. I mean, that's all I'm going to say because, Kyle, damn it. Yeah, I really do want to hammer that. But yeah, the first half of your question about Adam Pearce, yes, it does give heel heat to Roman Reigns. It does, because he's picking his opponent. He's picking somebody that he can beat up. He's a bully. All that is true. But the fact remains, it's the Royal Rumble, and we still have this happening. And nobody's got sympathy for Adam Pearce, right? Like, he's not a sympathetic figure. He's not picking on a referee that maybe, he was bullying over the last several weeks or something. He's picking on an official that isn't likable to begin with. And the match is still happening at the Royal Rumble. It's not appealing. It's not exactly a headline grabber. I understand that the benefit is getting more heel heat on Roman, but the big downsides are, well, nobody cares about Adam Pearce. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody cares about whether he gets beat up or not. He doesn't have any sympathetic emotion with me anyway. So I don't know. I get what you're saying, but there's just no upside. There's not enough upside to balance the down. So, and again, maybe the payoff could be totally worth it, but as it stands right now, to me, it's not. So, alrighty, guys, this is going to be the final voicemail of the night. There are more, okay? I do see many more in the voice box, so if you didn't get your voicemail on this show, there will be a part 2 to this, okay? I will do another show. I'll drop it tomorrow night. I normally don't do anything on Thursday nights, but in the case of you guys hammering me with stuff, I will do another one tomorrow night to capture all the other voices, and maybe we'll get some other ones that come in over the next 24 hours, and we can, of course, get you in. And by the way, that number to call in, if you do want to call us, is 518-952-0247. I mean, we do have enough to create a whole nother show. I mean, that's how many of you guys have given me this week. It's great. I mean, you guys are interacting and want to get your voice on here, and I think that's great. I would do the same thing. So, okay, this will be the final one for tonight, and then we'll do another one, of course, tomorrow night to just make sure everyone gets heard. Okay, here we go.
Hello, this is Jose Lucia again. I currently live in Pittsburgh in Greenville, and I got this good question, and I hope this is listening to it. I hope management is listening. I have this good question. Since there's no managers for Raw and SmackDown, I was thinking myself, since I'm a huge fan of wrestling, I was thinking I could get a contract to sign, and I could be the new either Raw or SmackDown general manager so I could put wrestlers in great matches for the show and for the WWE universe, all for the universe, to see their favorite superstar in matches. I got lots of ton of matches. I don't want to say that with all the types of matches and stipulations and all that. So I hope management is listening, and I hope I get to hear myself next week as well. And I hope you have a wonderful new year, 2021. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Go Steelers. They're in the playoffs.
Hey, Jose. First time caller, I'm guessing. So thanks for calling in. Yeah, Steelers. I don't know what to say. I mean, obviously, we all know what happened there. Yikes. But about your inquiry to be Raw General Manager. Hey, listen, put your application into WWE.com. I'm sure they have an opening because Adam Pearce needs help. Maybe you can be his assistant on Raw. He's got one on SmackDown. He's got Sonya Deville. Maybe you can be his assistant co-general manager. That they won't say it's co-general manager, but it is. It's a general manager of the show, or commissioner, whatever silly title. They're all authority figures. They all do the same thing. I don't know what the difference is between a commissioner, or I'm sorry, a WWE official and a general manager as far as the on-air role. They're both doing the same thing. But yeah, hey, go to WWE.com and fill out your application. I'm sure that they are they're looking, and Adam Pearce needs help. So, alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening. I know that we have more that you maybe you called in and you didn't get your voice on the show, but as I said, we'll be doing another part to this because you guys, I want to make sure that you're heard and you take the time to call me, and I want to make sure I take the time to respond to you and give you a little airtime to vent or ask questions or whatever it may be. So, as always, guys, until then, I'll talk to you next time.